Next on Rugby Wrap-Ups, MLR Weekly and MLR Extravaganza. After the final weekend, we have New England owner Errik Anderson, Pono Davis of the Houston SaberCats, Andrew Quattrin of the New England Free Jacks, plus Alex Corbisiero and Will Hooley of the Rugby Rundown, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News, and some cameos from some other people as well. Rugby Wrap-Ups MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
Let's get it started with rugby's best recap. In the ocean state that is Rhode Island, a jewel of a new stadium hosted Major League Rugby's final between the New England Free Jacks and the Houston SaberCats. And this epic had a little of everything. A critical battle between two backup fly halves, smash-mouth rugby from two nasty and physical packs with names like the War Machine and the Bus, and a duel between opposing fullbacks Schumacher and Webster, who made excellent plays on both sides of the ball. But it was Brock Webster of the defending champion Free Jacks whose star shone most brightly, assisting on two dazzling tries and playing fearlessly under high kicks. And Dan Hollinshead provided the daggers from the tee, subbing in for an injured Jason Patros, who is determined to return next year. Final score in an instant classic, three-peating New England 28, worthy Houston 22. And that might not have been the longest recap, but we could use a break, which allows us to segue to our recurring segment, Rugby Morning's Coffee Break with John Fitzpatrick, no longer calling in from Washington, D.C., and very sensitive about disclosing his location. John, how are you?
Hey, Matt, I'm in Rolling Hills Estates in the state of California, which is a state in the United States of America.
Is that why you're moving back and forth, because the estates are rolling?
Oh, that's so good, man. How do you have a show after 20 years? I don't get it.
Oh, well, you can have it these days. Anybody can have one, and that's abundantly apparent. Anywho, we had a big championship weekend, a great event weekend. What was your takeaway, John?
Yeah, Matt, I thought it was a great weekend. The venue looked good. The attendance was pretty solid. The game was a nail-biter. Congratulations to the New England Free Jacks organization for their third straight MLR championship. Matt, fair to use the D word here?
Din-din?
Ding-ding, ding-ding, dynasty?
Dynasty? I think so. 3 in a row in a league like this where there's not a lot of teams. It's not 32 teams. It's not 28 teams. It's 11 teams, right? So to do it is difficult. So I guess you got to stamp the dynasty tag on them. It pains me to say that as a New York fan supporting a team from New England, but hey, we got to be honest.
The question then, Matt, let's be honest and let's ask some other questions. Is it good for the league if they win a fourth straight? And what the heck does the rest of the MLR teams have to do to knock them off the throne? There's a couple teams that are very close. I mean, Houston, you could argue, was a penalty try away from actually taking over that game that was not called. But, Matt, I mean, come on here. You can't have 4 straight championships for one team.
NFL when the New England Patriots were winning all their Super Bowls? Was it fair to the people of Buffalo when the Buffalo Bills dropped 4 straight Super Bowls?
Wide left.
Wide right. It was wide right.
I know.
Okay. Wide right.
Scott Norwood.
Let's move along.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, the big question now as we turn the page from MLR is, of course, we've got a string of USA Men's Eagles matches coming up here. USA Belgium on Saturday. I mean, Matt, coming off of the strength of an MLR season, like USA needs to put an absolute beat down on Belgium, right? Like anything less than a 40-point, 50-point win would be unacceptable, yeah? Come on.
Who knows how long the team from Belgium have been together? Have they been like Romania, living together for 6 years? Or are they like the Eagles, where they got together last week, had a week
but the guys that played in the championship didn't fly out to meet the team until Sunday, and they're all banged up, so they're probably not ready to go until Tuesday at practice.
Stop. You're setting an extremely low bar. It's the point now
Full
we're coming up
reality.
to Rugby World Cup 27 qualifying where we need to start putting some pressure on this team. We've got 2031 in sight here. If we're saying, just to win over Belgium, no, we should be absolutely burying Belgium. No offense to Belgium, but can we step it up
Belgium,
here?
And I take umbrage.
Well, have some Danishes and coffee or whatever they make over there, and let's drop 60 on them. Come on.
That's racist.
Make rugby great in this country again. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, sign me up. What else, John?
Yeah, Matt, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention also the other championship that took place, and that's Women's Elite Rugby. Denver Onyx with a big win over the New York Exiles, 55-13. New York did jump out to a 10-point lead there, but the strength of USA Women's Eagles, basically all up and down that Denver roster, pulled them through it. So Denver wins the very first WER championship, Matt.
Well, congratulations to the W.E.R. They had their growing pains, but they did get the championship in at the Minnesota Vikings practice facility, which is a cool stadium. And unfortunately, Wendy couldn't be with us today. She was dealing with some personal issues, and we wish her the best because she's a hell of a lot better than you are talking about this. And I'm actually interested in what she says. So that's the catch-22. I'm sorry, John, but I don't really listen to you much. Anywho. Thank you to Mr. John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning. You were stellar. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away because right after this break, we have interviews post-game on the field at the MLR final, easy for me to say, with New England owner Errik Anderson, star prop for Houston, Pono Davis, and the hooker of the New England Free Jacks, the three-time champions, Andrew the Cute Train Quattrin, after this.
Digs like a demented mole there.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
How you doing? I'm Jim Hamilton. I'm at the Pig and Whistle. I'm at the famous Pig and Whistle. Look, I've got my rucksack on. I'm a well-known man around the world as one of the best rugby players to have ever played the game. No, I'm not. It's a lie. But we've got Paul O'Connell's montage on the wall. I've heard a lot about this place, and I'm here. Make sure, though, that you come here, but you also tune in to Rugby Wrap-Up.
All right, before we come back, let's go to our very cool collection of post-game interviews on the pitch with the likes of Errik Anderson, owner of the New England Free Jacks, Pono Davis of the Houston SaberCats, Andrew Quattrin of the Free Jacks, and a slew of other folks that I can't even remember, and I apologize to right now.
Q, Andrew, the Q train Quattrin. How satisfying?
It feels really good. I think it'll feel better when we're all together as a team, just a team. It's awesome that we have everyone, all our fans, but I think it's like we couldn't have done it without them. But when the team's together, it'll be amazing. Like that. It's like when you put pasta in the hot water and you don't stir it. That with the lid on, that change room's about to.
I like that analogy. This is a cliche question because you now are one of those snide repeat winners in professional sports, 3 in a row. Which one was the most satisfying?
The first.
Oh, no hesitancy.
Yeah, the first for sure.
And how would you rank the second and third?
Second was tough for me. I was in a tough mental place, so it kind of flew by and I was struggling a bit. Third is awesome. First was awesome. The second I probably didn't embrace enough, which I'm a little hurt personally by it now. Just tough. I shouldn't have been probably selfish. But we'll see how the three. This group of guys is awesome. It's a ragtag group of guys. This is probably I'm not going to compare the groups, but this is probably one of our tightest knit groups. With the guys getting injured, like a Jason Poitras sticks around, he loves it.
And what a game Hollinshead had.
Shadsy, Hollywood, awesome kid. Like, Brady seems like he's been here for 4 years.
Well, we talked off camera yesterday a little bit, and I got to say, this is the most relaxed and healthy I've seen you at the end of a season. And here you are, and you say, your body just kind of calluses over, right?
Yeah, that's what we talked about in preseason. I took that as my own thing yesterday, but he used to say in preseason we're going to callus the soul. So that kind of encompasses a lot of things when you think about it, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, callus the soul.
Are you looking for the fourth?
I am. I'm looking to go into the change room really quick and celebrate.
The fourth championship?
Yeah, the fourth championship.
All right, you guys are going to go talk about that. I'll let you go. Congratulations,
Thanks
my
so
brother.
much.
Great seeing you.
Appreciate you, Matt.
The Q, Andrew Quattrin. Errik Anderson, owner of the Free Jacks. When do you start working on number 4 in a row?
We already did. We started working on number 4 3 years ago. This is the culture of the team.
Good answer. Good answer. But seriously, how satisfying is this?
I mean, there's nothing better in the world than seeing a team come together and build a culture that's just a winning culture.
You're down a man. They opt for the corner rather than take those points, and that was a critical moment in the match. Did you have like an effigy of a SaberCat? You were poking needles in it to get them to make that?
Everything we can with crossed fingers, and as one of our owners said, nod to a horse and wish it well on the side of the street. Every superstition we had going into this one.
And how great is this venue in your backyard?
It's incredible. I mean, obviously, we played with a bit of advantage being so close to home, not knowing if we were going to be in the finals when the MLR decided this was going to be where the championship was. But the fans showed up all over New England. It was incredible. I have to say, the Houston fans really showed up. It was not as lopsided as I was expect. They traveled well. They were loud in the stadium. They really pushed their team, and it really showed there on the scoreboard and fighting out to the last minute.
All right, buddy. Congratulations. Go enjoy.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, man.
Sir, you were a beast out there, and you guys just came up short. Couple of plays, a bounce of the ball here or there. You're champions. How you feeling right now?
A little disappointed, but proud of the boys. We all put our hearts out there on the field, and just unfortunately didn't come away with the dub. And New England's a great team, so it's always a hard battle, and looking forward to getting after it for next season as well.
Ryan, congratulations. How does it feel?
How phenomenal to come down in your own backyard, and I know it wasn't a home game, but you look at the red, white, and blue in that stadium, and it felt like a home game for us. So.
And you got the guys going nuts on the bus. I know you got to go, so high five, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Get to work on the fourth one, would you?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, cheers. And we're back from the gentlemen of the Rugby Rundown and catalysts in the media sphere on the American rugby landscape, Mr. Alex Corbisiero and Will Hooley. And if you don't know who they are at this point, I'm not going to tell you who they are.
Should
Bill and Bob or whatever?
I was going to say, should we be calling you like Steve or something? Completely.
Listen, that was take it up with the teleprompter guy. For those who don't know, we had a Friday night event. And a Saturday morning. Oh, it was actually the live pregame.
Back to you, Steve and Jimmy.
Oh, he's on fire, Matt, as well. Hopefully my name's Jimmy, but we'll carry on.
And I may have called Alex and Will the wrong names. We're throwing back to them a couple of times, but
yeah, Matt was finding it hilarious. I'll be honest.
We had fun.
He's still finding it funny. He's still laughing about it now. That's how funny he found it.
Alex, why don't you go first? What was your impressions on the weekend?
I thought it was a really impressive weekend, and I thought it's something that Major League Rugby should be very proud of. I think it was a good showcase of what this league is capable of. I thought the venue looked incredible. It was pretty much full. The fact that the Free Jacks had got there with a home crowd and they had the extra energy of a three-peat on the line, like you couldn't have scripted it better. Houston came to the fore. It would have been an amazing story for them to lift their first ever trophy as well. So you kind of had storylines everywhere, and then the game was a nail biter and delivered. I think on a whole as well, from the stuff off the field, from stuff we did with the Rugby Rundown and you to some of the other commercial stuff, it shows real growth for me of where this league's going and what it's capable of. It's still, under no illusions, got a lot of work to do and bootstrapping and areas that are going to take time to evolve, but I think it's probably the best feeling you could have after a final spectacle that we've had in some time. And I think I think anyone who watched that broadcast or saw the final or just picked it up on TV as a random fan would have been left with a positive sort of taste in their mouth or a positive sort of reflection on the product, which is great for what we're trying to achieve in rugby here in America.
Oh, I mean, there's not much really to add to what Corbs has just said there. I think, as you know, Matt, as someone who's in the business, you know that you're always going to be under fire. I think Major League Rugby over the years can't say it's got everything right. And even at the weekend, things were not perfect. But what I was so proud about with the MLR group, I was really proud of everyone here, Corbs, yourself, Matt, as well, is we tried something. We tried things that were new, and there was a real feedback from the fans at the time, whether they were there in the live shows and when we were doing boat races, whether we were at the live pre-game show, and that beer hall behind us was getting packed. And it was just like, that has to be a blueprint of now going forward. And again, it's going to sound weird coming from my accent, but it felt like we were trying to put our American stamp on our sport here in the US, in MLR. And America, baby. And literally that has to be the go forward and what we want to try and build off. I think that's the biggest thing for me. There was so much going on and done by a skeleton crew, not big budgets. But I think we made a big show bigger by what we achieved over those few days.
Agreed. One thing I took away, and I wish we had this on video, is the facility that was like the hub was this place called the Guild, and it was like an old industrial kind of space revamped into a brewery, and it's a great bar and a lot of different areas. And after the match, I don't know, I'm guessing time here, maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock at night.
Who knows?
We're in the back. The referees find a quiet little place, on the outside, and they're sitting there, and all of a sudden, Godzilla comes in the form of Alex Corbisiero and just shoots the whole ref table up with one flame. And I wish to God that was on video, because that was beautiful. No hello, no just penalties.
No, I'll be honest. I had a lovely chat with referee Luke Rogan, and I walked in, I saw him, and his first comment was, "He's got a bone to pick with me or something." And I knew it was obviously going to be because I thought penalty try, and I'd already spoken to Dave Wilkinson and obviously on why they felt they couldn't give penalty try, so I was aware of his argument. But then, I had my explanation very well prepared and loaded in the chamber, and he got the full barrel of the Corbs scrum obsessed.
It was so
press.
great. And we are now basically out of time, so I want 10 seconds from each of you on what's one thing we must do next season.
Build off that championship, go after building a genuine product we can sell.
Exactly. So for me, more games on ESPN or ESPN2 or whatever other affiliates they're willing to give exposure for this sport, or whatever the broadcast deal is, would probably be something I'd look at just to keep growing the brand, because I think that's only going to help us from a commercial aspect as well as a fan base growth.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These two know what they're talking about, and I want to thank them for coming on from the Rugby Rundown, Will Hooley and Alex Corbisiero.
Cheers, Matt. Appreciate all you do, mate.
And now for your Major League Rugby Play of the Week, brought to you by the Rugby Network. In the 13th minute, and the score knotted at 3, New England's number 15 Canadian speedster Brock Webster took a pass at midfield and taught every kid out there watching how holding the ball in front of you can freeze a defense, and that's exactly what happened as he dished to a cutting Paulo Balacana for a scintillating and downright dirty try. And that is your Major League Rugby Play of the Week, brought to you by the Rugby Network.
I wouldn't like to be at the bottom of that.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com.
Go there now.
And we're back with Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News /Ray's Rugby. And usually Bryan and I discuss things beforehand about what we're going to talk about. But in this instance, he's just made it impossible to discuss. We just have to do it organically. Bryan, you look like you're in witness protection program and probably someplace very cold while you've got the three-peat New England champions, the New England Free Jacks champions of the MLR behind you. What is going on, Bryan?
Only sunshine here, Matt. Only sunshine. Houston versus New England. Free Jacks for the three-peat. Look it up.
What did you take? What did you make of this weekend?
I predicted. Yeah, it was a good game. Competitive game right down to the end. Obviously, there's that, a little bit of controversy right around the 62-ish minute mark, but. I think that the better team on the day won, even if it was very, very close. Houston absolutely, gave them a proper test. And that you can see the nerves early in the game. There were some early bobbles. Maybe that was a little bit with the weather as well. But at the end of the day, both teams gave it everything. The fans got a great spectacle. The game wasn't decided at the final whistle. So, I think everything.
The entire weekend, I was there. I thought it was a great event. I thought this could be the calling card now on the resume for MLR in terms of sponsors and or partners, because it was a really good event, and it wasn't just a match. There was stuff around it. There was the fan fest with a show and different speakers and stuff on Friday night, right in the fan zone with a band, and it was outside and it was great. And then Saturday morning we had that live pregame back in the Guild, which is the brewery, and the doors were open at 9 a.m. and the beers were flowing probably at 8:30 a.m. as they were trying to get in. So that was also great. And I would say that everybody went to this jewel of a stadium. It's a brand new stadium in PAWTUCKET, just 5 miles or 5 minutes north of Providence. I just came away rejuvenated and thinking, okay, this could be the turning point in the MLR in terms of sponsors and partners, because they're not going to lose money on this event, which is the first event not to lose money in the league in the history.
I will say that I think if they're going to stick with this kind of neutral venue, you got to announce it earlier than they did. Get it out there so we have more people committed. And as you say, they're making a spectacle of it. Make it a bigger spectacle. I still absolutely insist that they need at least one more game around that. Maybe MLR All-Stars versus an Eagles 15.
Or
maybe
the W.E.R.
Have the W.E.R. final, the night before, something like that. You have to make a bigger spectacle of it and get the word out early. So take what they did this weekend and expand. If they do that, then I think they've got a winning product.
And I think it was an aha moment, oh, okay, yeah, all right, for a lot of people that matter. And again, only 3 months prep because of the problem of the stadium not necessarily being finished on time, and it was. But that's why it took so long. But I think, we also talked about around a few pints how it would have been really cool to have the reveal for next year's venue at halftime with like a little curtain pull back. Who were your best players in the match?
Well, Brock Webster was superb.
I'll counter your Brock Webster with Max Schumacher.
I thought Schumacher was on the two fullbacks. Absolutely. If Houston wins that game, I think Schumacher gets the player of the game. So I thought both of them were outstanding. And I think, I've mentioned this earlier, I think Schumacher should be in the Eagles squad now with his utility value and just his talent. I don't really understand what the decision is there, but maybe this, maybe that big game performance is enough to tip the scales for the selectors, whatever doubts they had. But I thought he was outstanding. Webster, amazing in the air. Paulo Balacana, again, the guy has just been superb down the stretch. I've said enough about him. I thought Nathan Den Hoot, it really the heart of the Houston pack this season, the second row, does a lot of the dirty work, the unseen things, whether it's in the maul and the ruck, everything. I thought he had a strong game too. Nothing.
He's had a strong
Houston,
season.
Yeah, Houston's got nothing to be ashamed of for that performance. Both teams made mistakes early on, and it just made for a great, a great ending.
There's some rumblings about maybe some new ownership interest. Maybe not for next season, but they were at the game, which was even better. I got to tell you, man, I was giddy on Sunday. I was, wow. It was a great event. We had professionals working it. I got to tip my cap to a couple of the people like Rob Wallace, who was doing double duty, helping run the live show, and also Lucas Reed, who's the chief revenue officer, but he's like helping build the stage during halftime. He's in a suit and he's putting chairs on the stage and arranging everything. I mean, everybody pitched in. It was really refreshing to see. So I'm positive. Just like Michael Corleone, just when I thought I was out, they sucked me back in. And you're the same way. I know it. That's why you're wearing those glasses. You don't want people to read. And by the way, what old lady did you rob those off of?
Hey, come on now.
What? They look like old ladies' glasses. Did you get them in the little claw machine?
Don't give everyone my secrets here.
Well, final thoughts, Brian. And this is not the final show of the season, but final thought.
Well, I think the best team overall in the season won in the end. And hey, I'm hesitant to call this a dynasty. It's not like Free Jacks have been crushing everybody along the way. I mean, the points have been very, very close. You look at across the board this season, every team has been competitive. I think that can only get better next season. I think it's a tremendously compelling competition. And I love that the Free Jacks win and everybody now puts the target on them. Everybody says we've got to stop the Free Jacks. That's good. I don't see any negatives in that. I don't know why anybody is whinging that the Free Jacks have won. So, wait, team again.
Wait, two things. You consider yourself a dyed-in-the-wool Free Jacks fan, right?
Well, I don't know about dyed in the wool. I mean, if the arrows are around, we might have a discussion.
Oh, so you're just going to jump ship.
Okay. I go to the highest bidder, Matt.
All right. Okay, so you'll go right back to the arrows.
Well, I'm Canadian.
So I had an opportunity that I passed up that I will regret for the rest of my life. You want to guess what the opportunity was?
Free beer.
Well, yeah, free. I was getting free beer anyway, but getting on the bus with the Free Jacks. I passed that up because I had my car parked at the Guild, the brewery, where the post-up party was, and I was thinking way too practically. And Tom Kindly's like, "You sure you don't want to go? Come on, man, get on the bus." And the guys are like, "Come on, get on the bus." And I'm like, "I can." I'm like, I will take that to my grave as a regret, because those guys were just, as you can imagine, just letting it all out, having a great time. And it would have been a fun experience. And anybody out there in the audience, if you ever get that opportunity, don't pass that up. Don't pass it up. And on that note, Brian, we're out of time. So I want to thank Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Errik Anderson and Andrew Quattrin of the New England Free Jacks, also Pono Davis of the Houston SaberCats, and everybody else that we got on mic for a couple of seconds here and there. And thank you for tuning in. Please check out the critically acclaimed The Rugby Odds. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Sign up for our weekly newsletter. And please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.